be a master of Pokémon? Do you have the skills to be number one? I wanna take the ultimate step, find the courage to be bold, to risk it all and not forget the lessons that I hold.
Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 108 of the Pokemon Snapshot. How are you doing tonight, Josh?
Better than I was last week, Jeff. I don't feel like I'm dying anymore.
You don't sound like you're dying either.
Yeah, I still got a little bit of a cough, but I'm all right. A little bit
That's
of
good.
a scratch.
What have you been up to this week?
So I think I said maybe a few episodes ago that for my job, like we were going to start testing. Like the ESL kids have to take like this, basically their equivalent of the state test or whatever. And it took us literally the entire month of February.
Wow.
Just because you can only test a certain number at a time, and there are only 3 of us, so it took us forever, the entire month of February, but we're done. And so now like we can do fun projects and stuff. Like I'm starting to work on like a film analysis project that I want to do. Yeah. So get to do fun stuff that I don't normally get to do in like the English classes, the like ELA classes that I teach.
You can have them watch last week's episode of Pokemon and relate it to Romeo and Juliet.
They would have no frame of reference because they won't do Romeo and Juliet until 9th grade. Probably. But I've also been on like a time travel kick. I've watched a bunch of time travel movies and stuff. I read a book, but you might know the movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
I've heard of it, yes.
So it was originally a book. The same guy that wrote that wrote 2 books, one called Time and Again, and the other one From Time to Time, in their time travel books. And I read, while the kids were testing, I read Time and Again, and I finished it 2 nights ago or 2 days ago, and it's pretty good. So
Okay.
just on the time travel, dude.
I can't remember the last time travel movie or book I've read.
The Avengers Endgame.
I guess the Avengers counts.
Yeah. What about you?
I want to say happy Pokemon Day, Josh.
Is that today?
It is today.
I thought it was yesterday.
Anniversary.
Pokemon is only 6 years younger than I am, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's 7 years younger than I am. It's crazy thing. It's been 30 years. Now, granted, it has only been 30 years in Japan. In the United States, it did not come out to 1998. And in honor of that, and I'm kind of excited to say this, I got a code, not technically provided by Nintendo, but it was provided to my friend Steve at Engage Family Gaming, which I help with his podcast, who it was provided to him by Nintendo. So I think I can say code provided by Nintendo.
Yeah, by proxy.
By proxy, I was
Yeah.
given the code and I decided to play it.
Pokemon by proxy.
So I got a code of Pokemon Leaf Green and I put about 30 minutes into it, and that's probably all I'm going to put into it. And that doesn't mean it's a bad game. That just means that it's archaic. And so I don't want to go through the old systems. Like, it moves really slow. Catching Pokemon.
What year did it originally come out?
2004?
When I was 14.
2004? I will have to look that up because I am not sure. 2004, I was right. It came out
Nice.
January 29th, 2004.
Wow.
So yeah, I was playing it. I was going to do a Nuzlocke. Josh, have you ever heard of a Nuzlocke?
It sounds like a bird. Is it a bird Pokemon?
It is not a bird Pokemon. It is it is a way people play Pokemon games.
I thought it was a Pokemon's name.
Nope. So I've never tried one. I was going to try, but then I realized I just didn't want to play anymore.
What
But
is
in a
a Nuzlocke?
So in a Nuzlocke challenge, what happens is every new route you are on, you are only allowed to catch the first Pokemon you find.
Oh.
If you end up making it faint, you can't catch a Pokemon that route.
Wow.
While you are playing, if your Pokemon faints, you have to go put it into the computer and release it because your Pokemon died.
Wow. Okay.
The rules also dictate that every Pokemon you get, you have to give a nickname so you feel more close to that Pokemon.
Connected to it?
You feel more connected to it because then it hurts a lot more when you die. Like instead of just...
It's like you have to put a pet down.
Yep. So instead of just, oh, there goes that Rattata. Oh no, Splinter's gone. That was the name of my Rattata I bought.
That's
I
funny.
caught in Pokemon Leaf Green.
That's pretty funny.
I did not name my starter because I wasn't going to do a Nuzlocke, then decided to. So
Mhm.
I had Splinter the Rattata and Burb the Pidgey.
Burb.
Burb. But that's what I've been up to. It was really cool getting to play some old school Pokemon. It's just, I don't, HMs, I hate HMs and I don't want to have to deal
Yeah.
with them again.
They've updated so many of their systems since then. It's kind of like, do you really want to go back to they didn't do any like quality of life upgrades or anything?
No, it is literally just the ROMs, to the point where even the beginning is like, like I was in that first battle with Gary,
Mhm.
and when I went to attack, Professor Oak's like dialogue comes across the screen. You attack each other, you attack other Pokemon in order to bring down their health. Like, thank you, Professor Oak.
I
I've only
appreciate
been
that.
playing Pokemon for almost 30.
Yeah. And so that's why everybody online was complaining that they were selling it for $20.
Yeah, especially since they have a Game Boy Advance section in their Switch Online.
Right.
It makes no sense. I don't That just means any other Pokemon game that comes out, they are
Mhm.
also going to just sell them to us, at least with the mainline games. But speaking of that, as I said, today is Pokemon Day, which is why we pushed off our recording to a Friday. Usually we record on Thursdays, but we wanted to make sure to get all the new Pokemon news that is coming. So I'm going to go. There's a lot more than we usually have because they put out a direct today, a presentation. The first one is the weirdest bit of news, and it is that a small Game Boy player with 45 songs from Pokemon Red and Blue is going to be for sale. I have not seen what this Game Boy player costs.
Surely not a lot.
I'm pulling it up to see if anyone else, because they did not say anything on the actual thing, but
Mhm.
nope. Oh, it started today through the Pokemon Center, so I might have to go to the Pokemon Center website. But yeah, the device contains 45 cartridges with 45 songs from the original game.
So there are 45 different cartridges?
Yeah,
That seems excessive.
yeah, I am seeing if it's on the front page of Pokemon Center's website since it was just announced.
Just put it on Spotify, people. Not everything has to be made into turned into something to make money with.
They literally have a Nintendo Music app if you're a Nintendo Switch Online user.
Uh, well, put it on that.
It says it was going to be available on its website. I cannot find it, so I do
Mm,
not know the price of this.
well, it's okay.
Oh, wait, there it is. It is $70 and it is sold out.
And that's why they put it on sale and it has 45 cartridges.
Yep.
What in the world?
Pokemon Center's description is, I'll just read this. Relive cherished memories of your Pokemon adventures in the Kanto region by embarking on a new journey to listen to the songs and sounds that helped bring it to life. In this special collection, you'll find Game Boy Jukebox, a sound toy modeled after the original Game Boy system from Nintendo, along with 45 cartridges that you can insert into the device to hear a familiar melody or sound effect from the original Pokemon video games.
It sounds like a bit from like the old Whose Line Is It Anyway, where they would be trying to like sell like, I don't know, an album filled with songs about like a plastic surgeon or something. And they're like, pay $100 to get 40 on 45 cartridges.
Yeah, includes one device, 45 cartridges, and one storage case.
Wow.
Screen and buttons are decorative only. This product does not play games. Features music and sounds from the Pokemon Red and Blue games. Requires 3 LR44 button cell batteries. Included batteries are for demonstration purposes only.
So you gotta buy batteries too.
You gotta buy batteries. Recommended for ages 6 and up, and it's a Pokemon Center original, so you will not be able. I mean, I'm gonna share my screen so that you can see this, Josh. But this is what it looks like. It looks cool, but not $70 cool.
The fact that it has 45 cartridges is
insane.
The thing that's nuts to me. Y'all can't fit we have like a supercomputer in our pocket. You can't fit, like 45 songs on what, 2 cartridges, a blue cartridge and a red cartridge?
Well, and then it looks like each cartridge is gonna have a picture on the back to kind of designate what sound it is. So I guess we'll have to see. I can't wait to see people play with this and see what they think.
I can't believe it's sold out already.
I mean, that's the world we live in. Everything is sells out.
Mhm.
When everyone's like, you know, show them with your wallet. We all show them with our wallet because we buy everything.
I know.
All right, let's get on to some more Pokemon news because that was just the first thing announced. The second thing announced was Pokemon World Championships 2026 is going to be in San Francisco from August 28th to the 30th. There's a Pokemon trading card game app releasing in 2026. Now, this is not the TCG Pocket app that's came out a couple years ago. This is going to be more directly in line with how the Pokemon trading card game is played, where the TCG Pocket app, which I did play for a little bit, I even subscribed to,
Mhm.
not anymore, but I did. It had a simplified version of the trading card game. A bunch of apps are having 30th anniversary celebrations such as Go, Master ZX, Cafe, Remix, Pokemon Sleep, and TCG Pocket. I wasn't going to go in all of those because I don't play any of those. And
Yeah.
listeners, if any of you, when I get Pokemon news, have a specific game you would like me to go over, let me know and we'll think about it. But as of now, I don't know anyone who plays these
We might
games.
not do it, but we'll think about doing it.
We'll think about it. I mean, I used to go over because Pokemon Go has events all the times, but it was just a pain in the butt trying to,
Mhm.
since I don't play, figure all this out. And I do like to do like Pokemon Unite. That is one game I wish I could get into was Pokemon Unite. But as
Yeah.
we talked about last week, I just don't get into PvP games
Yeah.
or I like to play games with a beginning and an end. But today on Pokemon Unite, Zapdos, Moltres, and Articuno are now able to be selected as characters. And they announced coming at a later date are Meganium, Typhlosion, and Feraligatr. Do you know those names, Josh?
Aren't they like the third evolution of like the starters from
Gen 2.
Generation 2? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I do
Yep.
know that. Yeah.
You did. All right. The next bit of news is Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness is coming to Nintendo Switch Online GameCube section in March. That's a fun game. I have it on my shelf back there. It's an expensive game. It is like $200 if you were to find it now.
Oh,
I did not
what
buy it.
is Gale of Darkness?
It is an RPG where I have to remember, it's been a long time since I played it. I don't think I even beat it when I played it. Uh, and and you start with, I believe, an Umbreon or an Espeon, and it just,
Mhm.
unlike going through your typical gym badges, it's going through a storyline like an actual RPG, but with
Oh,
Pokemon.
cool. Oh, that's
And you do Pokemon battles in it, and I know the big mechanic is you are trying to heal these Pokemon from this darkness, and so
mm,
unlike in the actual Pokemon games where it does not allow you to catch trainers Pokemon, you are fighting a lot of Team Rocket people, and they have Pokemon that have something with darkness, and you have to try to catch the darkness Pokemon so you can purify them.
that's cool. That actually sounds like fun.
Yeah, I remember it being a fun game. I just maybe I will, if I get a chance, will try to actually beat it because being on that shelf, it's really hard to put
Yeah.
a GameCube on a TV nowadays.
Gale of Darkness just sounds like someone's grandmother got possessed by the devil. It's
I
it's Grandma Gale.
I'm really surprised. So there were two of these RPGs on the Switch, and I'm pretty sure Gale of Darkness was the second one. There was also Pokemon Coliseum, so I'm surprised they didn't put that one first. But oh well. Continuing on, Pokemon Champions Nintendo Switch version is out in April, and the mobile version is out later this year. The Pokemon Champions is like a way to battle Pokemon on your phone or Switch, kind of like Pokemon Stadium. I'm curious to see how this will work. We'll probably play just to see. I'm excited. They also said Mega Garchomp Z is announced for Pokemon Legends ZA. You can get it now through the mystery gift function. I don't know enough about Mega Garchomp to tell you what's difference between him and Mega Garchomp Z. If we ever get that far, we'll talk about it in our Who's That Pokemon segment.
Someday. After we're retired.
And then they gave some news about Pokemon Pokopia. That's how you pronounce it. That's how they said it in the...
So it's not Pokopia?
No, he said Pokopia. There is going to be a stereo Rotom in Pokemon Pokopia where you can insert CDs and listen to music. It was really music heavy.
Does it come with 45 CDs?
They also go over how you can cook different foods and each Pokemon prefers different foods. You can also bring Pokemon on an outing and visit other players' towns in multiplayer mode. You can play hide and seek where you can transform into objects to hide. So in the presentation, they showed like one person transforming into a tree. So in hiding. And if you get the game before January 27th next year, you can get a special Ditto rug. As I said, this game, I was not that interested in it, but the more they talk about, I mean, not the Ditto rug or really any of this they announced today, but I'm excited to actually play it. I will be getting it next week.
You have to talk about it.
I will talk about it. Maybe not next week if we record on Thursday because
Mhm.
I may not have time to finish it by then. Or not finish it, but play a lot of it before we record. But we shall see. And then the last bit of news, which was the big one, is that Pokemon Winds and Pokemon Waves is coming out in 2027.
Yeah, a lot of people were excited about that online. That one of the things that they were most excited about is the fact that it's coming out in 2027 and not this year. Because usually, don't they do? I guess they do yearly releases.
It's usually on a 3-year cycle, but this means they're not rushing it out and they're taking their time. People have even been noting that this trailer looked to run so much better than when Scarlet and Violet was announced, the trailer was choppy.
Yeah.
So it looks nicer. And you learned your brand new starters. And
Mhm.
I will share my screen again so that you can see the starters, those of you that are watching on YouTube. They are your grass starter is gonna be Brout. And I do want to say I got this image from IGN, so thank you, IGN. Your fire starter is going to be Pombon.
And
And
people
then
online were freaking out about Pombon.
and then your water starter is Gekwa.
See, I kind of like Gekwa the most. Pombom is cute, but
I like Brout, but I'm like, we've already had a grass bird starter with
Yeah.
Rowlet. He also looks kind of like an angry bird,
yeah, he does look like an angry bird.
except green instead of
I think Gekwa looks cool. That's the one I'll get.
I usually don't make my choice until I see their final evolutions of which one I like better there.
Yeah, that's fair. Are you gonna get winds or waves?
That again, I need to wait and see who the legendary is.
I think I want. I
Is
think I
tied
want
to each of them.
winds.
Well, you're gonna have to get a Switch 2 first.
Well, that's. I'll just steal Codas.
But yeah, that was all the news announced today. It was a big direct. We were expecting a lot of mobile game news, but it was cool seeing that the Pokemon World Championship's coming out, some more news on Pokopia, and then, I mean, I predicted that Gen 10 was going to be announced, and with a lot of people, I am also excited that it's not coming out till 2027, giving people time to
Right.
play, which it looks like this year there's not going to really be a big Pokemon game released.
It's okay as long as they take their time and make it good.
Yep. And that's what matters. And it does look good. It looks like fun. They haven't revealed any other new Pokemon, but it's all up until Pokemon's release. It's always fun to see what new Pokemon will be revealed. And so as they are revealed, Josh and I will share them on the podcast. All right. Going on to our question of the week, which last week we asked, what is your love language? Well, our only answer came from Kate, who said, Yeah, people were not a fan of this question, I guess.
People saw love and were like, ew,
Yeah.
gross.
Kate said, my love language is acts of service, whether romantic love or friendly love. I show up for my friends as often as I can, helping them out with things they have a hard time with, etc.
That's a good friend, Kate.
That is a good friend. And then I wanted to highlight a couple comments. One from Kate on our YouTube short about our Nidoran. She said, fun fact, on my very first date with a boyfriend back in freshman year of high school, he gave me a carnation. I promptly announced that they were an edible flower and ate a petal. I still cringe about it 30 years later.
I'm cringing on your behalf, Kate.
Yes.
And that's not even half as embarrassing as the things that I did when I was that age.
Nope, we've all done embarrassing things. So, and then I wanted to bring up this TikTok comment from Roberto XS. He talked about the Nidoran episode, and he said, I had this episode on DVD when I was younger. And I know that's not exciting, but it made me remember. I feel like everyone has had that one like TV show that you've had that one DVD or VHS, and so there's certain episodes you've seen more than any other episode.
Right, yeah. Especially as a kid when you just watch the same, well, especially if you grew up pre-streaming, you watch like the same things over and over again because that's all you have. It's like the dark days of physical media.
Yep. And so my VHS that I had had 3 episodes of Pokemon. I'd have to look to see what the other one was. I know what 2 of them were.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Flame Pokemon-a-thon, which do you know what's special about that one, Josh?
Is that the first episode that I did?
That's the first episode you did. It was
Nice.
on that VHS.
Nice.
And then it had the Kangaskhan Kid, and
I remember that one.
I would have to look. Let me look at the list of episodes I have and what comes up before or after that one. Let's see. The Flame Pokemon thing.
The Flame Pokemon-a-thon was the one with like the 3-foot tall Ponyta, wasn't it?
Yep.
Or the 1 foot, however tall it was.
Yeah.
That's still one of my favorite moments.
I want to say it also had the Ninja Poké Showdown, which is the badge, getting the soul badge from Koga.
Nice.
But I watched that so many times because it was the only VHS of Pokemon I had. If Pokemon wasn't airing, that's how I had to watch my Pokemon.
It's the only way to watch Pokemon in rural Iowa.
Yep. All right. And then going on to our next segment.
Education!
Ooh, no voice cracking this time.
I barely held it together.
Kate had one quick thing to let us know. She said, booby prize, kind of like booby trap. Boob in that context is kind of like calling a person a dummy. If you get caught in the trap, you weren't paying attention. And if you get a booby prize, you didn't do well in the competition.
Sometimes the booby prize is a booby trap.
I will say, Kate, I love that we can always tell when you're listening to our episodes because you just do your comments in our Discord. And it's fun seeing. Just for those of you, I say join our Discord because you get some fun things like that.
We have fun here.
Kate feeling bad that Josh didn't get the reference and then going, oh, good, Jeff got it.
Oh, good. Jeff's not quite as dumb as Josh is.
It made me laugh. And speaking of that, don't forget you can follow us on Twitter at Pokemon Snapshot or send us an email at thepokemonsnapshot@gmail.com. You can also find us on YouTube and TikTok. Just search for the Pokemon Snapshot. We post short clips on both platforms. And if you'd rather watch the full episode, the complete video is available on our YouTube channel. And if you're enjoying the show, leave us a rating on your favorite listening app so other Pokemon fans can discover the podcast. And as I just said, we also have a Discord, and that link is also in the show notes if you want to join our Discord. And I always, whenever I beat a game, I always give my thoughts about the game that I played. We have random conversations. Some aren't even Pokemon related, and we're building a good community there.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right. And now on to our next segment.
Previously on Pokemon.
All right. Last week, on their way to the next Orange League gym, Ash and the gang arrive in merry old England looking island town. Can't read today. A description we question due to the lack of sewage in the streets. And they get pulled into a neighborhood rivalry when Emily loses her female Nidoran, Maria. Ash discovers there are male and female Nidoran via the Pokedex, leading to far too much horn commentary from yours truly. While the search introduces Ralph and his male Nidoran Tony, the twist, the two Nidoran are secretly in love. Emily and Ralph, childhood rivals who apparently solve conflict by hitting each other with sticks, forbid the romance despite living next door to each other, prompting Misty to meddle with forged love letters that spectacularly backfire. Team Rocket capitalizes on the chaos with a wedding-themed kidnapping involving Arbok, Victory Bell, and a giant cake, but Maria and Tony fight back together, share a kiss, and evolve into Nidorino and Nidorina, leaving us debating whether love causes evolution.
That was a pretty good one. That was a good summary.
Thank you. All right, and now going into this week's episode, we are watching Get Along, Little Pokemon, or as it was known in Japanese, the Magnemite of the Great Plains.
Pretty good episode title too.
Before we get into that information on the episode when it aired and everything, I do want to say, if you go to Pokemon.com, this episode is listed as Get, G-I-T, Along, Little Pokemon.
Get Along.
Did you notice the grammatical error in the title card during the episode?
No, I didn't.
So this episode, its actual title is Get, G-I-T, Along, Little Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
On the title card, it says Get, G-E-T, Along, Little, comma,
They got some comma splices here.
Get Along, Little Pokemon.
No, hold on. It's get along, little Pokemon.
Yeah. So just some information about the title there. This episode aired on June 17th, 1999 in Japan and on April 29th, 2000 in the United States. And to kind of put you into where this was during history, the top movie was still that German U-boat movie U-571. So that neither of us have ever heard of. But I did want to bring up the number 2 movie that week, which was The Flintstones in Viva Rock Vegas.
I so miss pre 9/11 America and just the innocence of it all.
And this isn't even the good Flintstones movie.
Was there a good Flintstones movie?
The original live action movie. Fun fact, I still have some of when McDonald's was doing the promotion and you could get those glass cups.
Yeah.
For the Flintstones movie. If I remember correctly, Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas, they like changed the whole cast. They got rid of, there was no John Goodman, no Rick Moranis, no Rosie O'Donnell.
That's lame.
I don't remember who played Wilma, but they got rid of all the big name actors and tried to do another movie. But I guess it was still good enough to be number 2.
It was coasting off the popularity of the first.
I do want to say I put in the top video sales there, which I did some research. So at this time, Billboard was doing top DVD sales, which was just DVDs, but the top video sales was DVD and VHS. And so the top sales this week, a little movie came out on videotape, and it was Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
So I just looked up the Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas cast. Yeah. So I recognize the dude that plays Fred Flintstone, but I can't tell you what he's in. Stephen Baldwin plays Barney Rubble.
It's
like the Baldwin that no one cares, or one of the Baldwins that no one cares about.
Okay.
Jane Krakowski plays Betty O'Shale. She's from 30 Rock, and she's been in other shows. You'd recognize her.
Yeah. With Alec Baldwin, the popular Baldwin.
Yeah. And then Alan Cumming plays Gazoo, which I'm going to assume is maybe a villain.
No, I like the Flintstones growing up. The Gazoo was the little green alien that kind of popped on Fred's shoulder.
Right. Okay, that was
I could see Alan Cumming playing. So, okay, it had some big names, but it did not have John Goodman.
Yeah, it's strange that they recast.
Yeah, with still somewhat popular people.
Yeah. Harvey Korman played Colonel Slaghoople. He was on, with the Carol Burnett show.
Okay.
And he was the bad guy in Blazing Saddles. That's the main place I know him.
Okay, so some big names, just not the big names from the original.
Right, yeah.
And then The top song is still Bye 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 in sync.
NSYNC just can't lose.
They can't lose. And the number 2 is still Maria Maria.
Nice.
All
So,
right,
Jeff, are
Josh.
we finally ready to get along? Get along?
Yes, let's get into the episode.
Let's get along into the episode. As the episode begins, Team Ash treks across the desert towards the Trovita Gym. Notbrock says that they have about 3 days' journey to go, and Ash says he's not going to make it. Jeff, so this is like the series finale, right? Them dying in the desert?
Yep, they all die. The end. It was a good run, folks. Let's go,
Yep.
Josh. Let's go
All
home.
right. Pack it up. Let's get along.
Get along. Get. This, though, it brings up a point I want to ask.
Okay.
How big is this island? They've been on the same island for the last 3 episodes. We have seen a beachside town, a little English town in a forested area, and now we are in the desert.
This is a very diverse island. The
Yeah.
Trump administration's probably going to nuke it.
They also mentioned, as you said, it's going to take 3 more days until they get to Trovita City.
That's an enormous island.
That is an enormous island, yes.
Apparently there's a house nearby, but Ash and Misty are about to pass out because they're out of shape, and unfortunately I've never related to them more.
Yeah, now they know how Lapras feels.
Yeah.
I guess making her do all this work has made Ash and Misty soft. I mean, they did used to walk everywhere.
I know, their calf muscles were like pop, but now they're just like jelly, like mine. Out of nowhere, an enormous rain cloud rolls over the mountains and begins to dump on them, and that means it's time to roll the title card.
Get along, little Pokemon!
Before you go on, Josh, I do want to
Okay.
say I'm glad you finally called it the title card, because the last few episodes you've been calling it the credits.
The
but I didn't
credits.
want-
I noticed that, but I was hoping you wouldn't say anything to save me the embarrassment, but here we are.
I'm not. If we're going down, I'm taking you with me.
You can't spare my feelings, Jeff. This is a ruthless business, the podcast game. They start running towards the house, and Ash says he'd rather be hot and tired than wet and tired, but if you know what you're doing, then you can accomplish both. Isn't that right, Jeff? As the storm gets worse, Togepi is just vibing. They find shelter in a nearby cave while a bunch of Magnemite absorb the lightning above, and a Jolteon barks at them. I'm super excited if Jolteon's going to be in this episode because it's my favorite of the original evolutions.
And so I want to talk about something here, because we talk about, like, when you say the Jolteon barks at them, he
Mhm.
doesn't just bark, he goes jolt, jolt, jolt,
Yeah,
jolt. So it's interesting to note that in Japanese, it is less common for Pokemon to say their own names. I mean, it does happen, but not nearly as often as in the English version. For example, let's just use the Pokemon here. The Magnemite just make a high-pitched electronic sound. Jolteon barks like the dog it is. And we will meet a couple of Tauros coming down that actually, they do keep their Japanese voice because they just moo like cows.
Right. For some reason, John Wayne shows up. And if you know anything about John Wayne, he was probably absolutely hammered out of his mind. But he stops and picks up Team Ash in a covered wagon. I do not care even a little bit what this dude's name is. I will be calling him John Wayne for the entire episode. Jeff, can we please get some audio of John Wayne explaining his Magnemite ranch in an accent by someone that's only vaguely aware of the American South?
A Magnemite ranch?
Yep, a heap of lightning falls out in these parts. I have my Magnemite suck up all that electric energy from the storms, and I take it round to neighboring towns and villages to power them up.
Wow, I bet chasing after lightning storms must be a really dangerous and exciting job, isn't it?
It sure does have its moments, little missy.
So he kind of sounds a little like Cajun to me. I guess whoever
I didn't think about that.
whoever did the voice must have just like, well, Louisiana's in the South, they must all sound the same. It really annoys me when there are shows that have a Southern character and they're played by like someone who has never left Los Angeles, California in their entire life. So they're just doing an approximation of what they think the South is like. You know how there's been like a push for like people who are like the same nationality or race or whatever to play characters of the same nationality or race? I vote that only people from the South can play Southern characters because that's the only way they're ever going to get the accent right.
So you asked about his voice actor, and I did look this up. He is voiced by Nathan Price, who hasn't done a lot of voices, but he was the original voice of Meowth during like the first 30 episodes
Interesting. Okay.
before Maddie Blaustein took over, who,
Okay.
no offense, Mr. Price, did it way better.
Yeah. Sorry about that price, but
Yeah, but speaking of this guy, so in other words, he's just this island's version of the electric company. I mean, is that what he is?
I guess because he's basically just out there using the Magnemite to like suck up all the electricity and then go give it to towns and stuff, right?
I guess, and I know he has his wagon, but it seems like people are going to have to wait at least a day for him to go power up each town. This seems like a not very good system.
It seems horribly inefficient. John Wayne checks each Magnemite's charge by connecting jumper cables. Before number 6, he just numbers the Magnemite, which just seems like way harder to keep up with. He should at least paint like a 1 through however many he has. Just paint the number on them. But number 6 runs away.
This reminds me of the Umbrella Company, where their father just gives them numbers because names are unimportant.
Very true.
So, Josh, have you ever thought about doing this for your dog since you have so many?
Just spray painting a number on the side. Yeah.
I guess they kind of do that. Don't they do that with sheep and cattle sometimes out on ranches?
Jeff, despite being from the South, do you think I've ever stepped foot on a ranch before?
Also, I do want to mention he connects both jumper cables at the same time, which I thought was a bad idea because you could get shocked.
I'm surprised he didn't get blown back. John Wayne sends Jolteon to zap the Magnemite back in line. And it's goofy stuff like this, like having a Jolteon be basically a Magnemite sheepdog, that makes me love this show. This is the kind of goofy Pokemon adventures that I'm here for. The Magnemites get a little handsy with Pikachu, and when Ash runs over to help, he gets zapped. All right, so can this scene be the series finale?
I mean, if you're going to talk about ways they have died, Ash has been zapped so many times, he's probably didn't feel a thing.
Yeah, he's probably all right. He's got an immunity at this point.
You're going to have to remind me, and you may not remember. Were you with me during the episode Sparks Fly for Magnemite?
Doesn't sound familiar.
It's the episode where Ash catches Muck.
Oh, okay. I think I was here for that.
I'd have to look at the list. So in that episode, a Magnemite is attracted to Pikachu because he is sick and is discharging a lot of electricity. So this is kind of the same thing.
Yeah. They're a little aggressive, though. John Wayne and Team Ash take off towards the town, making good time in the covered wagon. John Wayne gives Ash his name, and folks, I want you all to imagine like a generic cowboy and tell me what you think his name might be. And then I'll tell you this guy's name because you're never going to guess it. So take a moment, imagine the fictional cowboy and what you think his name is. This guy's name is Ethan. Like, there are so many better cowboy names they could have chosen. Maybe Wyatt. Wyatt sounds like he has a home on the range. Ethan lives in like a yurt. Or he could have been named Duke. Duke might reach for the skies, but Ethan microdoses mushrooms every few days, so he's always flying high. You might have a Boone or even a Silas who makes hay while the sun shines, but Ethan is all hat and no cattle. I had to brush up on my cowboy lingo for that. I don't know what incarnation he's thinking, but John Wayne gives Ash the reins, and he immediately loses control of the Tauros that are pulling the wagon.
All right. It's actually kind of funny that you mention his name and make fun of him because of Ethan. Because this guy's name, Ethan, is based off of the character Ethan Edwards from the 1957 movie The Searchers. And who played him? John Wayne.
See? It somehow... See, this is just my thing. I'm completely ignorant of everything. I know nothing. And yet somehow I stumble on to just bass backwards stumble into being correct with calling him John Wayne.
Uh, in the Japanese version, he was named Ford, which is based off of John Ford, the director of The Searchers.
Yeah, Ford was like the guy that gave John Wayne his break in Hollywood. Um, John Wayne is a wild character. I'd make a couple jokes about him later in the episode, but like you should, if you want to laugh at a person who is generally seen as like an American icon, go look into John Wayne. Dude was a horrible person. The next morning, John Wayne and Team Ash sit around the campfire eating breakfast while Team Rocket spies on them from a nearby cliff as they plan to steal the Magnemite and sell their electricity, which I don't know. It seems like an idiotic plan, but I guess that's just how how people get power in this world. So maybe it's not that dumb.
Isn't that exactly what Ethan's doing?
Yeah, I mean it is. It's basically what he's doing, but
I mean, yeah, as I stated, he is this island's version of the electric company.
yeah. General Electric. John Wayne Electric. Apparently, people use Magnemite like generators, and the nearby town has drained all of the electricity. I'm pretty sure if Magnemite's charge gets to 0, then it just dies.
And we do learn this because Ethan gets a call on his wagon phone.
Yeah, it just dies like a cell phone.
And on the other end is Officer Jenny, because apparently the Pokemon Center didn't plan for when they run out of power. They didn't have generators or anything. This just seems like poor planning.
That's like the thing. Who's in charge of logistics in the Pokemon world? Because everyone seems to do things the least efficient way possible. Suddenly, Jolteon starts to bark at the Magnemite swarm as they begin flying away. Jeff, can we get some audio of Jolteon's bark? Here it is.
Jolt! 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 Huh? What is it, Jolteon? Jolt!
I'm just going to say he sounds like my dog after a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah. He sounds like sorority girls with their vocal fry. Jolteon chases after the swarm, and it is revealed that Team Rocket has a giant magnet on their hot air balloon that all the Magnemite are stuck to. As their shock hangs thick in the air, that takes us to...
Who's that Pokemon?
All right. And our Who's That Pokemon for this week is Jolteon.
Oh, I'm excited. I always talk over it. I always forget that you're going to play it. You need to like hold up a finger to shut me up. You can play it. You can play it one more time and I promise I'll be quiet.
So Jolteon, or in Japanese, it was known as Thunders.
That's a stupid name.
Well, it's even funnier because Zapdos in Japanese, and actually we're going to be talking about Zapdos soon,
Ooh.
is Thunder.
So Thunder and Thunders?
Yeah. Some basic information on Jolteon. It's number 135 in the Pokedex. It is an electric type. It is 2 foot 7 inches tall and weighs 54 pounds. And it is known as the Lightning Pokemon. And it's the final evolution of its evolutionary chain. All right, so Jolteon's name. Jolteon's English name is a combination of jolt and the evolution suffix eon. Jolt refers to a sudden surge of electricity. A jolt is defined as a sudden, sharp movement or an abrupt surge of energy, often associated with electricity. And then eon is the shared ending used for all of Eevee's evolutions. Its Japanese name, Jolteon's Japanese name, Sundasu, comes directly from the English word thunder. It's always interesting that sometimes Japanese will just use like an English word or English names like Ford.
Mm-hmm.
What is Jolteon based off of? Jolteon is based on the combination of small fox-like mammals and the visual concept of lightning itself, rather than a specific electric animal.
It's not a dog? Or, I mean, not a dog. Oh, yeah. Is Eevee a fox or a dog?
I think kind of like a fox. I don't know. Jolteon's primary animal influence are fox or small canids. Like Eevee in most of its evolutions, Jolteon retains a fox or small dog-like base structure. The
There we go.
slender, agile body, the large upright ears, the narrow muzzle, and the digitigrade stance, which means it's standing on its toes. Its design influence is lightning and electricity. Its spiky fur radiated outward. Its sharp angular lines, white neck ruff resembling a lightning burst, rigid jagged posture. Its entire body is designed to mimic the zigzag shape of a lightning bolt. Even its fur looks charged, as if static electricity is constantly building up. Pokedex entries describes the fur standing on end when charged, reinforcing that lightning-inspired silhouette. All right, Jolteon's biology. Jolteon is a quadrupedal mammalian Pokemon covered in bright yellow fur. A spiky fringe surrounds its tail, and a sharp white ruff encircles its neck. It has large pointed ears with black interiors, along with black eyes and a small black nose. Its legs are slender with small paws, each bearing 3 toes and a pink paw pad. Inside Jolteon's lungs is a specialized organ that generates electrical energy, producing a faint crackling sound when it exhales. This sound can even be heard while it sleeps, as noted in Pokemon Sleep. When startled or angered, Jolteon's fur bristles and each strand stiffens into sharp, needle-like quills capable of piercing an opponent. It can then unleash a powerful 10,000-volt thunderbolts, either by gathering negative ions from the atmosphere or by concentrating the natural electrical charge within its cells. That charge is amplified by the static electricity stored in its fur, which is made up of electrically charged needles. When Jolteon becomes energized, these needles stand on end and harden, signaling that it is about to attack. The electricity it generates is so potent that even shed quills can retain a charge for a long time. Its fur produces a constant sparkling sound, sparking sound due to the negative ions it emits, and when particularly agitated, it can launch small volleys of its charged quills like a missile barrage. Lightning is even known to strike nearby on occasion. Jolteon is highly sensitive and prone to emotional shifts, easily becoming sad or angry. Its mood changes directly affects its electrical output, causing it to build up power unpredictably. Because of its high-strung nature, Jolteon can be difficult for trainers to bond with, and it is most commonly found in cities and towns under the care of experienced Pokemon trainers.
Or cowboys.
Going on to his Pokedex entries, Red and Blue says, it accumulates negative ions in the atmosphere to blast out 10,000-volt lightning bolts. Josh, look up how many volts an actual lightning bolt is, because that's... I'll keep reading these as you look that up. Pokemon Yellow says, a sensitive Pokemon that easily becomes sad or angry. Every time its mood changes, it charges power.
Typical lightning bolt carries roughly 300 million volts. So that's
nothing.
It's a mild shock.
Pokemon Stadium says its weapons are its 10,000-volt electric attack and its spiky fur. Its sharp hair can pierce enemies when it bristles. Can you also see how much volts would be in a static electricity shock?
Well, I did just look up 10,000 volts can be fatal.
Oh, okay, so
Jolteon can kill you.
okay. Pokemon Gold says it concentrates the weak electric charges emitted by its cells and launches wicked lightning bolts.
Wicked.
Pokemon Silver says every hair on its body starts to stand sharply on end if it becomes charged with electricity. Mine too.
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon Crystal says the negatively charged ions generated in its fur creates a constant sparking noise. Ruby and Sapphire says Jolteon's cells generate a low level of electricity. This power is amplified by the static electricity of its fur, enabling the Pokemon to drop thunderbolts. The bristling fur is made of electrically charged needles. Pokemon Fire Red says if it is angered or startled, the fur all over its body bristles like sharp needles that pierce foes. So it's kind of also like a porcupine, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it also said that the shed, or not quills, but needles can retain a charge. It's kind of like a jellyfish after it breaks off. After the leg of a jellyfish.
If you get shocked by a Jolteon, do you pee on it?
Yes. You pee on it.
Pokemon Diamond and Pearl says, if it is angered or startled, the fur all over its body bristles like sharp needles that pierce foes. Pokemon Platinum says, if agitated, it uses electricity to straighten out its fur and launch it in small bunches.
Did you notice that Fire Red and Diamond and Pearl had the same one?
Oh, no, I didn't.
They just got they got lazy between those two releases.
Well, I skip a lot of them because they reuse them all the time. The best ones are from the Alola game, Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon every time, and I want Pokemon to go back to those exciting Pokemon Pokedex entries. Because Pokemon Sun says they send out electrical charges of about 10,000 volts. Because they are high strung, it can be difficult to grow close to them. Pokemon Moon says when the fur stands on end, that's a sign it's about to give off a jolt of electricity. Take care, as sometimes lightning strikes next to it too. Pokemon Ultra Sun says its lungs contain an organ that creates electricity. The crackling sound of electricity can be heard when it exhales. Pokemon Ultra Moon says its fur stands on end, becoming like needles. It fires at enemies. Once they're weakened, it finishes them off with a 10,000 volt shock. Legends Arceus says bristles its fur into sharp needle-like points when it enraged. One can hear electricity crackle in its breath when it exhales. And then New Pokemon Snap says Jolteon can charge every hair on its body with electricity. The charge is so powerful that even if Jolteon sheds its fur, the hairs can stay electrically charged a long time. And then Pokemon Sleep says if you quietly approach a sleeping Jolteon, you can hear the crackling sound of electricity as it exhales. When its fur stands on end, that's a sign it's about to give off a jolt of electricity. So get away quick.
It says several times you can, like when it exhales, you can hear the crackling of electricity. That's kind of how I am with farts.
Every time you exhale.
Well, every time I just, oh yeah, I guess it is. I exhale and it's just, well, a little squeaker comes out.
And then a little bit of trivia on Jolteon. If a Thunderstone is used on a paralyzed Eevee to evolve it into Jolteon, the paralysis will not be removed. Why this is interesting bit of trivia is because electric Pokemon are not able to be paralyzed.
Oh, so like you could never cure its paralysis?
Well, you can. You would have to take it to a Pokemon Center, but you can't evolve it to cure it.
Oh, okay. Strange.
And that is our Who's That Pokemon segment on Jolteon.
Who's that Pokemon?
Back in the episode, James uses some shockproof claw thing to pick up both Pikachu and Jolteon, who try to free themselves with electricity, but it's ineffective. John Wayne has Jolteon shoot some pin missiles, and they're freed, falling to the earth.
Notice that Jolteon falls to the ground and runs off, letting Pikachu just fall like flat back onto the ground.
Jolteon had way more practice with parkour. Jolteon's Thunder Wave attack frees the Magnemite, so Team Rocket throw out their Arbok to attack. Arbok's attack knocks Jolteon into John Wayne, who collapses like he hasn't had a drink in a few hours. Pikachu shocks Team Rocket, popping the balloon and blasting Team Rocket off. How many balloons, like hot air balloons, do they go through? Their hot air balloon budget has to be astronomical. Hopefully they're never audited by the IRS. They're gonna have some splaining to do.
Speaking of that, it's that time. Don't forget to do your taxes.
I filed on January 30th, and if you really want to hear me go on a rant about the IRS, I can do it. But I don't know if the children want to hear that. I'll just rant about it later. John Wayne is going into alcohol withdrawals and fighting constant diarrhea. This is based on a true story. They were having to film scenes from a movie in between his bouts of withdrawals from alcoholism and diarrhea.
I was just going to say he may just die of dysentery.
Yeah. It's like the Oregon Trail, but there's, probably equal amounts of diarrhea. Ash volunteers to take the Magnemite to the nearby town in John Wayne's place. Oh, to have the confidence of an incompetent 10-year-old boy. Ash and Pikachu saddle up on Tauros and begin leading Magnemites 1 through 9 towards the town.
Oh, to have the confidence that you should leave your livelihood with said 10-year-old boy.
That pretty much gets to the heart of who John Wayne was as a person, that he thought this 10-year-old idiot kid would be able to get the job done. Eventually, the Magnemite, or as Ash and Pikachu on the Tauros are leading the Magnemite away. Eventually, the Magnemite float away, distracted like a middle schooler with unmedicated ADHD. which I can say without getting canceled because I was not diagnosed with ADHD until I was 32. Pikachu's electricity pulls them back, but Pikachu is too exhausted to keep it up. Fortunately, they have medicine for that now. A quick head count shows that number 6 has run away again, but Ash eventually finds it. And when he finds it, it's being magnetically pulled away by Team Rocket's electromagnetic ray gun that runs on static electricity, which they generate by rubbing electromagnetic plate things all over their hair and clothes.
They're not even electromagnetic plates. They are just plastic sheets.
Are they? They were like clear. I couldn't tell what they were.
Yeah. The only reason I know this is the website where I kind of get like the dub differences between Japanese and the English dub. He kept calling them electromagnetic plates, so that are plastic sheets. So that's why I assume they are. Maybe they say something in the Japanese version.
The Magnemite are stupid, so they go to Team Rocket, and Meowth captures them in a blanket. Pikachu tries to electroshock Team Rocket, but their ray gun is too powerful. Suddenly, number 6 gets supercharged, freeing the other Magnemite and merging with 2 of the other Magnemite to evolve into Magneton. It uses its electro powers to revitalize Pikachu, and together they all blast Team Rocket off for the second time this episode. I love a good encore performance. Just as the sun sets, the group makes its way to the town. A little while later, Misty, Knottbrock, and John Wayne arrive in town to find the city lights twinkling. The next day, for some reason I keep wanting to call him Joe Walsh, the guitar player from the Eagles.
Not Jeff Walker.
Definitely not Jeff Walker. I would never
Okay.
compare you to that. I just have him abbreviated as JW in the script, so for some reason I want to call him Joe Walsh instead of John Wayne. The next day, John Wayne offers Ash a chance to be his sidekick, which would have never flown with a real John Wayne. That dude couldn't stand other people having the spotlight. They head towards the Trovita Gym and right into the end of the episode.
And what are your thoughts on this episode?
See, I actually like this episode. It was 100% filler. It was unabashed filler, but I still give it a 7 out of 10 just because John Wayne's accent was hilarious. And I love the silliness of the Jolteon being a Magnemite sheepdog. That kind of thing is funny to me.
Yeah, this episode, I'm kind of with you. A 7 out of 10 would be kind of what I would give it.
Yeah. It's
Again,
maybe a little
it's-
generous. It's more like a 6.5.
Yeah, it's a lot of filler. They had to fill up time with a montage as they were traveling.
Yeah.
It's nice to see an episode with an evolution that doesn't have all the others, kind of giving Jolteon his time to shine.
Yeah.
Something I will mention that I find interesting is, so a lot of times we don't talk about the music unless it's a horrible 90s montage.
Right. Yeah.
Because a lot of times, I mean, Pokemon does a good job with its music because a lot of it's from the games in the anime. This episode had a lot of like campy Western music in its background.
Yeah. The Western theme was pretty fun. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
All right. So going on to our question of the week, we are going to ask the question, how do you handle storms? Because they started with a storm in the episode, so I wanted to kind of see what you guys think of storms.
Not well is what I would say. I've been through 3 tornadoes. Honestly, out of the 3 things that I'm most afraid of, tornadoes probably legitimately my number one fear. I fear tornadoes more than I fear death, including death by tornadoes. Well, maybe precluding death by tornadoes.
In my life, I've been through one bad tornado. I mean, it didn't hit my house, but the whole town didn't get destroyed, but people were cleaning up like tree limbs and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always in I grew up on an old farm, and so we did not go into the basement unless we absolutely had to, because the basement was just a dirt room. And
Isn't that your whole house? You're from Iowa.
aha, aren't we funny? My wife, though, here, as soon as those alarms, like the sirens are going off,
Mhm.
we are all in the basement. And I'm like,
Yeah.
come on, it's just a severe thunderstorm. It's not even a
Yeah.
tornado.
Yeah.
Like, if I hear a tornado, I'm going down there. I have a funny story from when we lived in Kansas. The tornadoes, we were supposed to be having tornado weather, which didn't happen a lot where we were in Kansas. We were on
Right.
the desert side of Kansas,
Yeah.
almost. But there was a point where, so one night a week, I used to play a Dungeons and Dragons game with my buddies all back in Iowa.
Uh-huh.
And So it's storming. I'm sitting in my living room on my computer. We're playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm getting like texts from Jessie, who at that time we were dating. So I was in my own apartment, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "What?" And so she calls me, goes, "You need to get somewhere safe. I go, "It's Dungeons and Dragons night. Come on." I played, and you remember my apartment, Josh. You
Yeah.
went in on the bottom floor and you went straight up those stairs. So there really
Right.
wasn't a safe. I mean, I could go in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did is I took my computer and I sat down at the bottom of my stairs and continued to play Dungeons and Dragons,
All for love of the game.
all for the love of the game.
So this is wild. So yesterday, I was driving home from work. This is like 3:30 probably. And I knew storms were coming, but it starts like coming down and the wind's blowing really hard. Like the rain was sideways and it starts to hail. I've never been stuck out in a hailstorm before, but like maybe a little bit smaller than golf ball size hail just starts dumping. And I was like, well, that's crazy. The wind's going crazy. It's raining like as hard as I've ever been driving in. Well, it ended up letting up like a little bit after that. But I got to school today and I was talking to some of my friends at work about it. And they were like, yeah, there was a tornado. And I was like, what? They were like, a tornado came through like the town where the school is that I work in and like another nearby town. And like it didn't destroy houses, but it like did a bunch of damage like in a couple of neighborhoods. And I was like, what? If I have to live through a tornado, I guess it's one that I didn't know was happening because I would have freaked out if I had known that I was out there when a nader was coming through, as we call it in Alabama. So to answer the question, how I handle storms, usually with poo poo in my pants.
And if you want to answer our questions, don't forget you can follow us on Twitter at Pokemon Snapshot or send us an email at thepokemonsnapshot@gmail.com. You can also find us on YouTube and TikTok. Just search for the Pokemon Snapshot. We post short clips on both platforms, and if you'd rather watch the full episode, the complete video is available on our YouTube channel. And if you're enjoying the show, leave us a rating on your favorite listening app so other Pokemon fans can discover the podcast. All right, Josh, do you have anything else to add?
I never have anything to add, Jeff.
All right.
Completely useless.
Please join us next time when we will be watching The Mystery Menace.
In a Pokemon world, I wanna be the greatest master